You know Saitama's One-Punch Man gimmick. Now imagine he still had hair, loved fighting, and accidentally destroyed Earth because he punched a little too hard. After the judge of the afterlife sentences him to hell, the MC responds by punching the judge into pieces. That's when the true God appears and offers him a deal. Conquer all of hell, become its strongest warrior, save his parents, and the God will rewind time to erase his mistake. But once that's over, the MC has one more goal. He's going to punch that God too. The story opens with a band of giant gorillas charging straight toward Gongong. Despite the terrifying sight, he doesn't even bother getting into a fighting stance. He simply stands there with complete confidence, as if nothing in the world can hurt him. The gorillas throw one attack after another, but he effortlessly avoids every single blow before casually telling them they're way too slow. Then he stops dodging altogether. He tells the gorillas to hit him with everything they've got. The entire pack unloads a barrage of punches, but Goongang barely feels a thing. Instead of taking damage, he actually tells them to hit harder. The gorillas become completely confused, yet they keep punching until every last one of them is exhausted. Goongang looks at the worn-out beasts and sighs. Seriously, is that all you've got? He casually gathers power into his fist and throws a single punch. The result is unbelievable. Every gorilla is blasted into the distance along with countless trees, and the force of the punch tears straight through the mountain behind them. The destruction is so overwhelming that people call him natural disaster, and after seeing that punch, it's easy to understand why. The story then rewinds 1 year. Before all this happened, Goongang appeared to be nothing more than a skinny young man preparing to leave home. His mother asks if he's really going overseas for environmental volunteer work. His father jokes that someone as thin as him should be the one getting protected instead of protecting nature. Goongang smiles and reassures them that he'll only be visiting safe places. He says it's time to see more of the world, and after hearing how determined he is, his parents stop trying to convince him otherwise. They simply remind him to eat properly, stay healthy, and come home immediately if things become difficult. Goongang hugs both of them goodbye before leaving the house. The moment he's outside, his smile disappears. He quietly apologizes to his parents. The truth is that he lied. He has hidden his incredible strength from them his entire life because he never wanted them to worry. This journey isn't really about volunteer work. For the first time in his life, he plans to test the true limits of his own power. A full year passes as he travels around the world. Eventually, he decides it's finally time to return home. He misses his parents more than anything, but one thought still lingers in the back of his mind. Even after an entire year, he has never once fought with his full strength. Before heading home, he wants to change that. Then he notices a massive natural rock formation standing alone in the distance. A grin slowly spreads across his face. Perfect. He climbs to the top of the enormous rock and decides this will be the final memory of his journey. This time, no holding back. He gathers every ounce of strength into a single fist before unleashing one full-powered punch. The gigantic rock instantly explodes. The surrounding trees are obliterated. Then the shockwave keeps traveling. It races across the entire planet without slowing down. Within moments, the devastating force reaches every corner of Earth. At the time, the planet was home to around 9 billion people. That single punch causes an unimaginable catastrophe, killing nearly 15 billion people across the globe. Before Gyeongang can even process what he's done, a divine judgment appears before him. A celestial judge announces that, due to the scale and severity of his crime, Ma Gyeongang has been classified as a special grade sinner. Completely confused, Gyeongang asks if this is some kind of afterlife. The judge calmly confirms that it is. His judgment has already been decided. For destroying Earth, he is sentenced to hell. Goongang immediately rejects the verdict. He tells the judge that the only people who have the right to judge him are his parents. Then, he points out something obvious. If beings with godlike power truly existed, why didn't they stop Earth from being destroyed? Instead of blaming him for an accident, why not simply restore the planet and bring everyone back? The judge looks down on him with complete arrogance. He calls Gyeongang a foolish creature before delivering a devastating reminder. Among the 15 billion people who died, his parents were included. The words leave Gyeongang completely speechless. Seeing that reaction, the judge twists the knife even further. He reveals that Goongang's parents will also be dragged into hell because of his actions. That is the final straw. Without the slightest hesitation, Goongang launches a kick powerful enough to completely shatter the judge. Yeah, Bro literally kicked the judge of the afterlife into pieces. As the shattered judge disappears, reality itself begins to change. Another being appears. This time, it's not a judge. The newcomer introduces himself as Kronos, the supreme king who governs all things. Kronos laughs, admitting that watching Gyeongang destroy the judge he personally created was surprisingly entertaining. Gyeongang immediately repeats his demand: restore Earth. Bring everyone back. Kronos explains that reversing an event on that scale is possible, but it would consume a significant amount of even his own power. Simply doing it for free would be boring. Instead, he offers Gyeongang a deal. If he can become the strongest being in all of Hell, Kronos will turn back time to before Earth was destroyed, erasing the entire disaster as if it never happened. To prove he isn't lying, Kronos shows him the souls of his parents. Thankfully, they are completely unharmed. Seeing them safe gives Gyeongang hope. He accepts the challenge without hesitation. If defeating every sinner in hell is what it takes to save Earth, then he'll do it. Kronos smiles before revealing one final detail. The place Gyeongang is about to enter is known as the Infinite Struggle Hell, a world where endless battles never stop. Gyeongang only asks for one thing: take care of his parents while he's gone. Kronos casually agrees, then immediately reveals the cruel truth. The judge's sentence still stands. His parents are being sent into the exact same hell. Their souls begin falling into the abyss right before Gyeongang's eyes. Kronos casually remarks that Gyeongang is a sinner, so dragging his family into the punishment is only natural. Besides, he thinks it makes everything far more entertaining. Enraged, Gyeongang charges straight at Kronos. Before he can reach him, enormous hands burst from below and grab hold of his body. No matter how hard he struggles, they continue dragging him into hell. Kronos calmly watches as Gyeongang disappears beneath the darkness. He tells him that he isn't ready to challenge the Supreme King yet. First, become the strongest in hell, then they'll meet again. With that, Gyeongang crashes into the underworld. He lands with a massive explosion in the middle of a battlefield where countless sinners are already fighting each other. Far above the sky, an enormous eye silently watches over the entire realm. Before Gyeongang can figure out where he is, someone walks toward him. She introduces herself as Mephisto, a low-ranking demon who serves Lord Solomon, one of Hell's administrators. She explains that every special grade sinner arrives with detailed records, so she already knows exactly who he is. She also claims she's been assigned to act as his guide. Gyeongang isn't interested in introductions. He tells her to stop talking nonsense. If she wants to fight, she should come at him. Mephisto quickly panics and explains that beating up a low-ranking demon like her won't benefit him in any way. Realizing she works for Hell's administration, Gyeongang immediately asks the only thing he cares about: where are his parents? Mephisto honestly admits she doesn't know. Unless someone is considered a special grade sinner, Hell doesn't keep track of every individual. Even while speaking, she can't ignore the terrifying pressure coming from the humans standing in front of her. Gyeongang coldly tells her that if she can't help him, she can die. That single sentence completely terrifies her. She immediately promises to guide him properly. Gyeongang gives her one warning: if she wastes his time and his parents receive even a single scratch, he'll smash her and this entire hell into pieces. Mephisto nervously agrees before remembering someone. There's a notorious sinner named Jack the Ripper who enjoys collecting powerless civilians. If Gyeonggang's parents were separated from him, there's a good chance they're being held by Jack. Gyeongang immediately orders her to take him there. Before leaving, he asks one more question: how strong is Jack? Mephisto explains that by Hell's standards, Jack is considered an upper mid-tier fighter. Gyeongang doesn't seem impressed. Instead, he asks who currently holds the strongest position in Hell. Mephisto reveals that the top seat is vacant, leaving Hell locked in a constant struggle between powerful beings competing for dominance. A confident smile appears on Gyeonggang's face. First, he'll rescue his parents. After that, Mephisto will guide him to every powerhouse in Hell. He'll defeat every single one of them. He'll become the strongest existence in Hell. He'll reclaim Earth. And after everything is over, he's personally going to punch Kronos so hard that even the Supreme King will never forget it. The journey through Hell continues, but Gyeongang is already starting to lose his patience. As Mephisto leads the way, he looks around at the endless wasteland before asking if she's actually guiding him properly, or if they're just wandering around in circles. Trying to sound confident, The low-ranking demon tells him they're almost there. It should be somewhere nearby. Gungang immediately catches the wording. Should be somewhere nearby. That doesn't exactly inspire confidence. Mephisto awkwardly admits this is actually her first time searching for someone else. She's never had to play guide before. Inside, she's fuming. How dare a sinner question a demon? Before the argument can continue, another group suddenly appears. A winged woman carrying a tiny mummy baby lands in front of them. The baby immediately looks Gungang up and down before commenting that the newcomer seems useful. The winged woman introduces herself as Sphinx Girl, while the little mummy proudly introduces himself as Baby Mummy. They explain that they belong to Lord Pharaoh's pyramid organization and invite Gungang to join their faction. According to them, the pyramid organization is one of the few groups in hell with a proper system. For a newly arrived sinner, this is supposedly a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. Gungang's answer couldn't be simpler. He doesn't need a faction. Sphinx Girl just laughs. She tells him everyone says that at first. Whatever status or strength he had while alive means absolutely nothing in hell. The underworld is filled with monsters beyond imagination, and ordinary people only survive by joining powerful organizations. To her, working together is the only way to stay alive. Gungang ignores the sales pitch and turns to Mephisto instead. If Jack the Ripper doesn't have his parents, could these people help search for them? Mephisto immediately shuts that idea down. She explains that Pharaoh's pyramid organization is built on nothing but greed and the desire to control others. Every one of Pharaoh's followers is notorious for being petty and cruel. Getting involved with them would only create more problems. Sphinx Girl doesn't appreciate the insult. She demands that Mephisto repeat what she just said. Instead of backing down, Mephisto releases her demonic aura. The sudden pressure is enough to make Sphinx Girl panic. Without another word, she grabs Baby Mummy and quickly flies away. Watching them retreat, Mephisto feels proud of herself. Now that's the kind of reaction she expected. Then she glances toward Gungang. Almost immediately, her confidence starts fading. He's only human. Even so, the overwhelming pressure she felt from him earlier was unlike anything she'd ever experienced. She tries convincing herself she imagined it. Maybe she was only startled for a split second. Still, the feeling refuses to disappear. She decides she'll know the truth after watching him fight Jack the Ripper. Gungang interrupts her thoughts by asking if she's finished standing around. If she's supposed to be his guide, then guide him. Mephisto immediately straightens up and leads the way. Not long afterward, they finally arrive at Jack the Ripper's territory. Sitting alone in an open field is a single man calmly waiting for prey. Gungang scans the area but doesn't see his parents anywhere. Mephisto explains that Jack usually doesn't kill his victims immediately. If he really captured them, they're probably being held somewhere else. Remembering Gungang's earlier threat, she quickly promises she'll narrow down another possible location if necessary. Gungang nods. For now though, their target has already noticed them. Jack the Ripper slowly rises from his seat with a twisted smile. He says it's been ages since his last hunt, and he'll enjoy every second of carving his new prey into pieces. The moment he finishes speaking, he launches himself forward. Using the surrounding mountains as footholds, he rapidly closes the distance before swinging his blade straight at Gungang from above. Gungang calmly catches the sword between two fingers. No struggle, no effort. He simply stops the attack cold. Then, he asks a single question. Have you seen my parents? Instead of answering, Jack instantly abandons his sword, slips behind Gungang, and attacks again with a hidden knife. Before the blade can connect, Gungang casually flicks a finger. The strike slices clean through Jack's mouth, piercing. Only then does Gungang take out a photo of his parents and hold it in front of him. Have you seen these people? Jack studies the picture for a moment. Then he points off into the distance, claiming he remembers seeing them somewhere in that direction. As Gungang briefly turns his head, Jack secretly retrieves the broken piece of his mouth, piercing with his tongue. Gungang isn't satisfied. He asks Jack to describe them in more detail. Instead of answering, Jack spits the sharpened piece of metal like a bullet. Gungang effortlessly avoids the surprise attack. At the exact same moment, Jack follows up with another slash. This time, the blade reaches Gungang's face. Jack grins. If Gungang is really looking for his parents, then he'll gladly find them, so he can tear them apart piece by piece. The smile disappears almost instantly. His sword isn't cutting flesh. Gungang is literally biting the blade with his teeth, without suffering so much as a scratch. Then, crunch. He bites down even harder, snapping the weapon clean in half. Still holding the broken blade between his teeth, Gang slowly asks Jack to repeat what he just said about his parents. For the first time, Jack realizes he's made a terrible mistake. He immediately jumps backward to create distance before unleashing a storm of throwing knives. Gang doesn't even bother dodging. He simply takes a deep breath, then exhales. The blast of air alone sends every knife flying back. Jack can only stare in complete disbelief. Before he has time to react again, Gang appears in front of him. He grabs Jack by the face and slams him into the ground with overwhelming force. Watching from the sidelines, Mephisto is completely speechless. Jack the Ripper may not be one of Hell's strongest warriors, but he's survived for well over 100 years in this brutal world. Yet, Gang defeated him so effortlessly that it didn't even look like a fight. Now she finally understands. The terrifying pressure she sensed earlier wasn't her imagination. Meanwhile, someone else has been observing everything. High above, Lord Pharaoh watches the battle through a monocle. Instead of feeling threatened, he smiles. That unbelievable physical strength is exactly the kind of power he wants under his command. He praises Sphinx Girl and Baby Mummy for discovering such an interesting newcomer, and rewards them for bringing Gang to his attention. The two happily thank their king and swear their loyalty. Looking back through his monocle, Pharaoh carefully analyzes the situation. Gang approached Jack the Ripper with a clear objective. He wasn't looking for a fight, he was searching for something, and, judging by his reaction, he didn't find it. Pharaoh smiles to himself. If Gang has something he desperately wants, then that weakness can be exploited. He immediately orders Sphinx Girl and Baby Mummy to investigate exactly what Gang is searching for. Once they find the answer, Lord Pharaoh intends to use it to force the strongest newcomer in Hell to obey him. Back in another part of Hell, the MC's parents struggle to survive in the unfamiliar wasteland. His father is barely able to keep moving. Every breath feels painfully heavy, and even standing becomes difficult. Seeing him exhausted, his mother asks if he's all right and suggests they stop to rest for a while. Before they can catch their breath, a massive cyclops appears nearby. The couple immediately hides behind a cluster of rocks, praying the monster doesn't notice them. The father realizes this isn't a nightmare or some cruel hallucination. Monsters like this truly exist. Then his thoughts immediately turn to his son. If they're suffering this much, just what kind of nightmare is their son enduring right now? Little does he know, the MC is doing the exact opposite. Instead of running from monsters, he's beating them into the ground one after another. After another overwhelming victory, Mephisto informs him that there is still no sign of his parents. Privately, she's completely stunned. She intentionally guided him toward demons that were far stronger than Jack the Ripper, hoping they might slow him down. Instead, every single one of them was defeated with ridiculous ease. The MC calmly asks one question: who's next? Mephisto starts wondering if he really can accomplish the impossible. Earlier, he declared that he would become the strongest being in Hell. At this rate, he might actually do it. She tells him their next destination is home to one of Hell's top-tier powerhouses. As they travel, the MC asks what kind of monster they're dealing with. Mephisto explains that, according to Hell's records, the creature spends almost all of its time asleep. Every so often it wakes up, goes on a violent rampage, destroys everything in its path, and then falls asleep again. It's a special grade sinner, just like the MC, one of the most ferocious beasts in all of Hell. Eventually, they arrive at the entrance of a massive cave. Mephisto reveals the monster waiting inside, a 99-tailed fox. The MC simply smiles. A top-tier opponent. Without any hesitation, he walks straight into the cave. Deep inside, the enormous fox is fast asleep. Mephisto quietly warns him that the entire area belongs to the beast. As long as it remains asleep, they should search for his parents without making any unnecessary noise. The cave stretches far deeper than expected. When they finally reach a massive cliff overlooking the cavern, the MC looks around. This place is enormous. Where exactly is the fox? Suddenly, the ground beneath the cliff explodes. The MC smirks. Looks like it woke up. A gigantic fox bursts out from below and lands directly in front of them. Even Mephisto can't hide her shock. The creature is absolutely massive, but its size isn't the scary part. The pressure radiating from it is overwhelming. The MC simply grins. Instead of waiting for the fox to attack, he casually walks toward it. He asks why it's just standing there staring at him. Then he throws the very first punch. The impact is devastating. One of the fox's tails instantly disappears. Mephisto immediately realizes what just happened. According to Hell's legends, every time the 99-tailed fox dies, it loses one tail before coming back to life. That single punch just took one of its lives. Enraged, the fox swings one of its massive paws. The MC meets the attack head-on. The collision shakes the entire cave. When the dust settles, even more tails have vanished. The fox now has only 88 tails remaining. The MC wipes a small drop of blood from his face before smiling. For the first time in his life, he's actually bleeding during a fight. That only makes him more excited. The fox unleashes another powerful attack. The MC effortlessly avoids it. The slash slices straight through the enormous rock formations behind him, showing just how terrifying the beast's attacks really are. The fox continues attacking relentlessly. Every strike tears apart the battlefield, reducing the surrounding area to rubble. Watching from a distance, Mephisto can't believe what she's witnessing. So this is the true power of one of Hell's top-tier monsters. The fox suddenly charges again. The MC instantly slips underneath its head. He laughs and asks who the fox is even trying to hit by attacking so wildly. Then he drives a powerful kick straight into the beast. Another huge number of tails vanish. Now, only 67 remain. The battle only becomes fiercer from there. The fox desperately attacks over and over again, but the MC completely overwhelms it. With every exchange, more tails disappear. Instead of struggling, the MC is actually enjoying himself. Watching him smile during such a brutal fight leaves Mephisto completely confused. Is he seriously having fun? Are all sinners like this? Did they all end up in hell because they enjoyed fighting this much? But then she remembers how desperately he was searching for his parents. His concern for them was completely genuine. She can't understand him at all. The fight continues until the MC lands another earth-shaking punch. This time, the fox is reduced to only 20 tails. Before it can recover, he follows up with another devastating kick. A massive explosion engulfs the battlefield. Even Mephisto is forced to shield herself from the blast. When the smoke finally clears, the gigantic monster is gone. Standing in its place is a tiny fox with only 2 tails remaining. The MC tilts his head in confusion. Why did it stop fighting? He says he's only just getting warmed up and tells the fox to keep attacking. Scratch him, bite him, do something. Instead, the terrified fox trembles from head to toe. The MC bursts into excited laughter, practically begging it to continue the fight. The fox, however, has completely lost the will to battle. Just before the MC can attack again, the once fearsome beast suddenly acts like an adorable little puppy. The unexpected change leaves even the MC completely confused. The battle against the 99-tailed fox wasn't witnessed by Mephisto alone. Watching everything from a distance were Sphinx Girls and baby mummies. Sphinx Girl couldn't believe what she had just seen. The newbie is unbelievably strong. Baby Mummy agrees, saying that someone at their level can't even measure the MC's true strength. Instead of confronting him directly, he believes it's far more important to find the weakness Pharaoh mentioned earlier. If they discover something the MC truly cares about, they might finally have a way to control him. Sphinx Girl looks toward the battlefield again but shakes her head. From where she's standing, it just looks like the MC is helping people and searching around without any obvious goal. Baby Mummy wonders if he's simply scouting the area. Before they can discuss it any further, someone suddenly appears behind them. It's Mephisto. The two immediately freeze in shock. Mephisto casually tells them to drop the formalities. After watching the MC's fight, they should already understand the situation. From everything she's seen, Pharaoh's faction alone isn't enough to stop him. If they truly want a chance, they'll need to convince another top-tier powerhouse to form an alliance. Only 2 of Hell's strongest forces working together might stand a chance against the MC. Sphinx Girl quickly nods. She understands. Then she hesitantly asks if Mephisto is helping because they're both serving the same side. Mephisto immediately denies it. She refuses to stand alongside lowly sinners. Before Sphinx Girl can respond, Mephisto grabs her by the head. Terrified, Sphinx Girl immediately begs for mercy. Mephisto tells her to stop wasting time, run back to Pharaoh, and convince him to pursue the alliance. The moment she's released, Sphinx Girl grabs Baby Mummy and flies away as fast as she can. Watching them leave, Mephisto lets out a sigh. There is absolutely no way she's going to let a battle addict like the MC become the strongest being in hell. Somehow, she has to crush that fighting spirit of his. Then reality suddenly hits her. She can't even speak confidently whenever she's standing in front of him. How is she supposed to stop someone like that? Meanwhile, the MC is completely occupied with something else. Mephisto notices him gently petting the tiny two-tailed fox. Completely confused, she asks how he can casually treat the beast like that. The MC shrugs. Whenever he fights wild beasts, they usually end up acting like this afterward. He assumed a yokai fox would probably be different. Mephisto is left speechless. He literally forced the mighty 99-tailed fox into submission. Maybe. She should have told Pharaoh that even two top-tier powerhouses might not be enough. Meanwhile, inside Pharaoh's pyramid, Sphinx Girl reports everything she witnessed. Even Pharaoh is genuinely surprised after hearing that the MC defeated the 99-tailed fox. That result exceeded all of his expectations. Instead of becoming worried, he becomes even more interested. He absolutely has to recruit this man. Pharaoh orders his followers to move forward with the top-tier alliance. At the same time, they should also contact both the Demon King and the Sepivus Queen. Whether those rulers accept or reject the alliance doesn't matter. As long as they take action, Pharaoh can use the MC as an excuse to make the strongest factions destroy one another. If everything goes according to plan, he'll be the one benefiting in the end. Before dismissing them, Pharaoh reminds everyone not to stop searching. Sphinx Girl asks if he means searching for the weakness that can be used against the MC. Pharaoh smiles. Exactly. As luck would have it, they've already found someone useful. Two mummy soldiers drag Jack the Ripper into the throne room. Pharaoh apologizes with a smile, claiming there seems to have been a misunderstanding and that he originally intended for Jack to be treated politely. He reminds Jack that he recently fought the MC and says they would appreciate his cooperation. Jack nervously asks what kind of cooperation they're talking about. Pharaoh calmly replies that refusing is always an option. Unfortunately, there are plenty of other ways to obtain the information they want. At that moment, mummy soldiers surround Jack from every direction with their weapons drawn. Realizing he has no chance of escaping, Jack immediately gives in. He'll do whatever Pharaoh wants. Pharaoh smiles warmly. He likes that attitude. At this rate, Jack might even become one of their friends. Jack quickly replies that he has no interest in becoming friends. He just wants to stay alive. Pharaoh laughs. No. From this moment onward, they're already friends. He then orders everyone to give their new friend a proper welcome. The mummy soldiers immediately swarm Jack and begin beating him while he desperately begs them to stop. Ignoring his screams, Pharaoh calmly tells Sphinx Girl and Baby Mummy that once Jack has been properly processed, he'll accompany them on their mission. Elsewhere, messengers from Pharaoh arrive at the castle of the Demon King to propose an alliance. The Demon King watches them through a crystal ball. With nothing more than a snap of his fingers, a bolt of lightning crashes down from the sky. One messenger is instantly vaporized. The other turns around and runs for his life. The alliance has been rejected. Meanwhile, another pair of Pharaoh's messengers arrives before the succubus queen, Helena. Unlike the Demon King, Helena doesn't care about Pharaoh's proposal. However, the newcomer they've been talking about immediately catches her attention. Curious, Helena activates her ability, Pheromone Drains. Almost instantly, she locates the MC. A smile spreads across her face. He's exactly her type, a man who constantly trains himself, suppresses his own desires, and endlessly pushes his limits. In her experience, those kinds of men are always the easiest to make fall in love. She casually uses her charm on Pharaoh's messengers. Within seconds, both men completely lose themselves. They kneel before Helena and swear to serve her for the rest of their lives. Smiling proudly, Helena calls them her slaves of love before ordering her entire army to prepare for departure. Every one of her followers immediately answers with a loud yes. Meanwhile, the MC has already found a new way to search for his parents. Instead of relying on maps or directions, he's using the tiny fox's incredible sense of smell. Confused, Mephisto asks what exactly he's doing. The MC explains that animals have incredible instincts. If the fox cooperates, it might be able to track his parents much faster than anyone else. Mephisto admits that yokai foxes are extremely sensitive to the energy of living beings. If it truly helps, finding his parents should become much easier. Still, she has her doubts. No matter how thoroughly the MC defeated it by force, she can't imagine a proud 99-tailed fox willingly acting like an ordinary guide dog. There's just no way. The fox suddenly lowers its nose to the ground. It sniffs the air for several moments before pointing in a specific direction. The MC immediately smiles. Good. Let's go. As they continue moving forward, the MC silently prays that his parents can hold on just a little longer. He is coming for them. At that very moment, 3 different groups begin heading toward the same destination: Helena and her army, Sphinx Girl and Baby Mummy, accompanied by Jack the Ripper, and the MC himself. Their paths are about to collide. Sometime later, the MC suddenly notices a large group approaching from the distance. He asks Mephisto who they are. Mephisto immediately recognizes them. That's Helena and her followers, one of the largest factions in all of hell. Meanwhile, Helena smiles as she flies toward the MC. Thanks to forcing her followers to run without stopping, they manage to arrive much faster than expected. As soon as she gets close enough to see him clearly, her smile grows even wider. "Oh my, up close you're even more tempting." She gracefully lands in front of him and introduces herself. She is Helena, the succubus queen and ruler of pheromones. She proudly announces that she has personally come to make him her slave and tells him to consider it an honor. The MC couldn't care less. If she's here to fight, she should stop talking and come at him. Watching from the side, Mephisto realizes the worst possible opponent has appeared. Helena's charm abilities hold overwhelming power over men. This isn't an enemy that can simply be defeated with raw strength. She can't help wondering how the MC is going to deal with this. Helena smiles before activating one of her abilities, Slave of Love. She empowers all of her followers and orders them to fight until they can no longer move. The effect is immediate. Her slaves become noticeably stronger and rush toward the MC all at once. It doesn't make any difference. The first one goes down instantly. Then the second. Then the third. One after another, every attacker is effortlessly knocked aside. Helena watches in complete surprise. She already knew the MC had defeated the 99-tailed fox. Even so, seeing his overwhelming strength in person is on an entirely different level. She personally selected these warriors and strengthened them with her abilities, yet none of them can even touch him. At that moment, Helena makes up her mind. No matter what, she has to make the MC hers. She immediately releases her charm ability directly at him. The MC senses something dangerous and instinctively dodges before asking what that strange attack was. Helena laughs. Why dodge? It's supposed to make him feel good. He should simply accept it. She releases countless heart-shaped attacks that chase after him. The MC avoids every single one while continuing to deal with her followers. Realizing he can't stay on the defensive forever, he slams his fist into the ground. The impact shatters the earth beneath them. Huge boulders are launched into the air. One massive rock flies straight toward Helena. She narrowly avoids it. Before she can recover, the MC is already throwing another. Then another. Soon, a relentless barrage of enormous boulders is flying toward the succubus queen. Helena finally decides to get serious. She summons an enormous whip and cracks it across the battlefield. The impact alone shatters the ground. Mephisto and the tiny fox immediately leap away to avoid getting caught in the attack. Helena doesn't even care if her own followers are caught in the crossfire. Watching the giant whip, the MC simply shrugs. At the end of the day, it's still just a whip. He grabs it with one hand and yanks it toward himself. The unexpected force tears the weapon right out of Helena's grip. She stares in disbelief. No one has ever managed to overpower her Queen Pheromone whip like that. Then she smiles. The whip was never meant to be her real weapon. Its true purpose was to spread her rosy pink pheromones throughout the battlefield. She snaps her fingers. The pheromones explode across the entire area. Watching from a distance, Mephisto's heart sinks. Has the MC finally been caught? She wanted his obsession with fighting to be humbled a little, but she definitely didn't want him to become. Helena stares at the MC in complete disbelief. This shouldn't be possible. How can he still be perfectly fine after being exposed to her pheromones? The terrifying display of strength finally makes fear take over. Before the MC can throw another punch, Helena quickly gives up. She says she's never begged for her life before. So if she's going to die, she'd rather accept it with dignity. The MC swings his fist once more. A massive explosion erupts from the impact. But when the dust settles, Helena is completely unharmed. The MC deliberately missed. He simply smiles and asks why he would kill someone over this. Helena can't understand him. If he leaves an enemy alive, won't that just create more trouble later? The MC laughs. That's the kind of thinking only weak people have. For some reason, those words hit Helena harder than any punch. She can't help thinking, why does he sound so cool? It's incredibly frustrating. Just like that, the battle comes to an end. Since Helena can no longer fight, all of the life force she drained from her followers returns to them, and her slaves gradually return to normal. Mephisto walks over and tells the MC that everything has been cleaned up, so they should continue searching. The MC immediately grabs her by the hair. He asks who gave her permission to start giving orders. Mephisto immediately falls silent. Inside, she can't believe what she just witnessed. She thought the MC's obsession with fighting would eventually become his weakness. Instead, it became Helena's biggest problem. The only things the MC seems to care about are fighting and finding his parents. There was never any room in his heart for temptation. The more she watches him, the more unbelievable he becomes. While Mephisto is lost in thought, the MC turns back toward Helena. He remembers that she specifically came looking for him. That gives him an idea. If her abilities are powerful enough to locate people, then she should use them to help find his parents. Watching the two talk, Helena secretly glances toward Mephisto. She can't understand why a demon is staying by the MC's side. The MC asks if she can begin immediately. Helena nods. She says she needs to gather energy before using her skill. As she places a hand against the MC's chest, he asks what exactly she's doing. She calmly explains it's simply part of activating her ability. Moments later, Helena releases her search skill. She quickly locks onto the scent of the MC's father. His pheromones are weak, but she found them. The MC immediately looks toward Mephisto. For someone who supposedly works in hell, she's been less useful than a sinner. Mephisto quickly defends herself. She already told him she isn't a tracking specialist. Her intelligence network covers all of hell in 3 dimensions. Then she immediately regrets saying it. Why is she even trying to impress him? Before their argument continues, Helena interrupts. She found the MC's parents, but there's a problem. Someone else has already reached them. Elsewhere, Sphinx Girl, Baby Mummy, and the mummified Jack the Ripper finally locate the MC's parents. Sphinx Girl smiles. It's rare to see anyone genuinely happy in hell. She tells the couple to come with them before anyone can move. A flash cuts through the air. Sphinx Girl's wing is sliced apart, sending her crashing to the ground. Standing before them is a lone knight. The moment Baby Mummy sees him, he immediately panics. He tells Sphinx Girl to run. That knight is a monster far beyond anything they can handle. Sphinx Girl freezes. Everything had been going perfectly. She thought completing this mission would finally earn her a promotion. Even Jack the Ripper abandons all thoughts of fighting and turns to run. He doesn't make it very far. In a single instant, he's cut clean in half. Seeing that terrifying display, Baby Mummy realizes survival is the only thing that matters now. Sphinx Girl immediately raises both hands. She surrenders unconditionally and desperately begs the knight to spare their lives. The knight's expression never changes. To him, criminals deserve only punishment. Then he delivers his verdict. Every criminal standing here will die. Watching everything unfold, the MC's parents are overwhelmed with fear. They instinctively call out for their son. At that exact moment, the MC finally arrives, and judging by the look on his face, he's furious.